Chapter 12 Hakuma Cave. The Hakuma Cave was supposed to be a burial cave for the people of Kalapana. This cave was situated above Kaniumoy on a cliff 50 feet high. There was a foot trail like stone steps from Kaniumoy along the side of the cliff to the top. Then it was another couple of feet to the entrance. The top of the entrance was flat and covered with lava rock. Wild berries grew around the entrance, so from a distance you could not tell there was a hole or entrance. If you placed a flat rock over it and covered it with lava rock, there would be no entrance. The sides of the entrance had 2 flat stones. These were for the guard who halted the intruder. First, you jumped down through the opening, then bent yourself down to crawl eastward about 10 feet and made a 45-degree turn to the right. Then you crawled downward about 20 degrees for another 10 feet, where you came to the end of the opening into a large cave. The height of the cave was about 15 feet and the width about 10 feet. From the inner entrance, you looked toward the ocean side, and at a distance of 500 yards, there was a small opening where you saw light. The main cave had a 20-degree angle to the left and was partially damp. From the entrance to your left was another entrance going to the mountainside. You could walk about 20 feet into another cave. The height was 15 feet, the width 20 feet, and the length about 50 feet. This was the main burial cave. I was told that there were other caves, but I did not explore them. In this cave, the place was full of human bones. Then you walked into the main cave toward the sea. This main cave was the refuge place during the war with King Kamehameha I. As you approached the light, the entrance seemed to close from the top, so you had to stoop down and crawl again to go out. As you stepped out and looked around, the opening to the ocean was 20 feet by 15 feet. At the end, you looked up about 30 feet to the top, and you looked down about 50 feet. The opening was damp from the ocean spray. Lots of seabirds made their home in this opening. Before the army of King Kamehameha invaded Kalapana, the natives received the message from their runner that they would be there within 2 weeks. In the meantime, they gathered their food and hid underground. The animals were taken to the mountain. The families, young and old, were taken to the cave. They posted 2 guards in the cave, and 2 looked out on the edge of the cliff, well hidden behind the stone wall. From Hakuma Cave to Kalapana, a distance of 2 miles along the cliff, guards were posted to stop all intruders from coming up the cliff. The strong, able-bodied men were ready to meet the invading army. The village natives were equipped with spear throwers and a Kawila wooden shark's teeth club. Some were trained in the art of lua. In time of war, they twisted one's arms or legs with the intention of loosening them from the joints, thus paralyzing the opponent, and then he was ready for the kill. In peacetime, this art was to twist one's arms or legs, which caused pain and held the person helpless. To unlock the arms or legs, you had to pull and twist back, which eased the pain. The word lua means two, the art to lock and unlock in Hawaiian wrestling. The cave was filled with food, and the place was lighted with kukui nut oil. At night, the people were let out on the cliff, but warned not to wander far. The strong ones cared for the old. The mothers attended to their children. During the day, they remained in the cave. At the bottom of the cliff were several mullet holes. These mullet holes were taboo to the commoner. The keepers of these mullet holes were the only ones who knew where they were, as they were well hidden. Underneath the large cave were small holes connected with the sea where the mullet came and went. During the night, the men went to their respective holes and brought out the mullet to feed the people. Those that hid up in the mountain brought food to the men defending the village, and the rest to the refuge cave. As the invading army arrived, the natives kept them away from the cliff. As they neared Kalapana, the defenders were no match for the invaders. They fought bravely, but had to yield to their demands. They took the strong and able-bodied into their army and left the dead and wounded and moved on. Whatever food they found, they took. The next day was quiet, and one of the remaining leaders called the strong to come back to bury the dead and nurse the wounded. It was a sad day for all the families. They carried the dead to the cave for burial. Whoever was missing, they just waited until someone told them that they were either dead or lost. Whoever was left struggled all over again. This was one time that their children would remember all the happenings and what it would be like again.